everyone, welcome back to Drawing with Paolo. My name is Paolo Morrone, and here is our character's head for today. And a little curved line here for his shoulder line. We'll have his back line here, which will attach to his pelvis down here. And we'll have his left leg going this way, and we'll have his bent leg, right leg this way with his knee and his boot and so on, and his knee over here. So we're drawing Obi Wan Kenobi today. And so he'll be holding a lightsaber. So this is why we have his forearm going over here. Like here's his elbow, and we'll have his forearm going this way. And then we'll have a hand holding that lightsaber like this. And we'll have his right arm on this side with his right elbow over here, which will attach to his forearm going to his lightsaber as well. Now, the lightsaber should be up this way, sort of like that, in this angle here. And the toughest part to this drawing, and I'm telling you ahead of time, the toughest part of this drawing will be the joining of the hands at the hilt of the lightsaber. And I'm saying that because it's generally the toughest part for me. And I'm guessing it's going to be a tough part for you too. And we may have to redraw that frequently, and that's okay. You don't have to draw this in one shot. There's really no issue with that, okay? Never try to draw anything in the first try anyway. It doesn't really matter. This is not a contest. We're not trying to be the best artist out there. We're just trying to draw and have fun, okay? That's the point to these drawing videos that I'm putting out here on YouTube for you guys to enjoy. So the Obi-Wan that we're drawing today is the Obi-Wan of the 3D TV episodes, Star Wars, Clone Wars. And that's why he's got this nice 3D hair that I'm drawing right here. So with his hair split on the side. And this comes down like that. And then all of these lines inside there, we can get rid of those. Don't need those anymore. Those foundation lines are no longer required. We can get rid of that. Here's his left ear, his right ear over here. That's it, his nice hairline. Redraw that in a little bit more. And then we're going to add some shadowing, 3D shadowing, so that his hair really looks thicker. Same thing here to the front. There's a little bit of a thickness there. This 3D character. Yeah, so I didn't feel like drawing a very realistic Obi-Wan like I did for Darth Maul or Yoda, and so we're just going to draw a cartoonish Ben today. And yeah, this is his cartoon hair. There we go. There we go. Get it? Hair we go. And yeah, boring joke, I know. And we're going to color in his hair like this and add a few detail lines. I'm just going to reshade the center part here a little bit more so that there's a little bit of a nice white reflection here at the front of the hair. Just like that. We're going to add some eyebrows here. He's not in a happy mood because, of course, he's holding his lightsaber. And therefore, if he's got his lightsaber out, chances are that he's going to be attacking. And if he's attacking, he's not a happy camper. So we're going to make him angry-ish. And this is his beard line. We're going to add his lip line over here and under lip there, just a little bit longer. There we go. There's his mouth. And from this, we need to pull these vertical lines, or sort of diagonal, that come from the far ends of his lip to his chin. Retrace this beard line over here like that. And there you have it, more or less, a little idea of what Obi-Wan's face will look like for the rest of the drawing. That's the easiest part to draw, I think, his head. Now all these foundation lines, we can get rid of those. There we go. Now we have a really good head drawn in there. All right, let's thicken up his eyebrows a little bit. Give him a bit more of a angry look there. Like that. And we're going to add some shading here in a few seconds to his forehead. And we're going to add an eyeball here. So essentially you want to draw almond shapes on either side. So 2 almonds. And we're going to add some lines here to his beard. These are vertical lines that sort of taper off to the edges of his mustache. Just like this. Same thing for the beard up here. We'll add some vertical lines like this. And we'll color in the beard. Now make sure not to color over the lip like this, right? You want to just avoid the bottom lip there and leave that white. It looks like it's part of the face and not so much the hair, okay? And we'll add a bit of shading here. His hair is producing a little bit of shadow onto his forehead. And we're going to color in his eyes a little bit so that his eyes look a little bit inset. So it looks like there's depth in there. just like this. And we're going to add a pupil in there. And retrace his ears a little bit more here, make them darker, and put some details inside of that ear. All right. The next step is to add a few clothing details here. So this is where his smock is open here at the front. It's not a smock, it's sort of like a, I don't know what you want to call that. His cloak comes to a shoulder point over here. I'm exaggerating the shoulder points. I feel like giving him a more styled clothing. And this is the opening of his cloak here. And he's got a little bit of a hook on this side, just like that. And all these lines through the lightsaber, we need to get rid of those. Add a bit darker here in his eyes. Yes, let's make those dark pupils. Voila. That's French for voila. Well, you know, there you are is pretty much, you know when you say, hey, there you are, voila, sort of like that. Here you go if you want, right? Okay, so let's add an arm here on the left side. There's his cloth fold, which will come into his gauntlets. You know, he's wearing those clone trooper gauntlets on his arms, in this drawing anyway, and so here's that clone trooper gauntlet. It's not one of my favorite looks. I don't think looks really cool to me that he has certain armor parts and other parts aren't armored up at all. And I'm not sure what the armor is for clone troopers anyway, because if they get shot by a laser, they die. So let's erase these lines inside here. Those foundation lines are no longer required. We'll get rid of them. And we'll add like a tricep line over here for his left arm. Just like that. Okay, and we'll get rid of these foundation lines as well. All right, now while I add some detail to his face here, I want to apologize for not giving any drawings out for the past couple of weeks. I've been really sick, and so this sickness, well, you know, I was really bad anyway. So anyway, just to say that kept me from drawing for a couple of weeks, and thank you for your patience. That's why this drawing is coming out, and there'll be another drawing out Friday. So thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. I did get all your messages. I totally appreciate them. I got hundreds of them, and so I wasn't able to respond to all of them, but thank you very much. I did read all of them. I totally appreciate you guys watching and appreciating my drawing, and thank you for sharing your drawings with me. I really, really am happy you guys are out there, and these drawing videos are helping you out. So thank you very, very, very much for being there and for participating with me every week. So this Obi Wan is a little late in coming, but here he is, and we're getting him done. All right, so the toughest part, as I said earlier, will be the joining of his hands here to his lightsaber. Let's get rid of this stuff. And so we're going to draw that soon, but we need to draw his right arm first. Now, a lot of people have been saying, Paolo, you draw too quickly, and I have a hard time catching up. And that may be true, but I think where the problem lies, let's get rid of this stuff, is the way I erase. I erase using my hand, right? Just like a swipe, and boom, the lines are gone. And that's magic. I'm actually just doing that through video editing. And the point here is to save time, because it's sort of boring to watch me erase anyway, erase my drawing. So you guys at home, while you're erasing, you're wasting time erasing. That's normal. You have to do that. And don't be ashamed to erase. You must erase, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is that while I'm erasing in a swipe, and that's impossible for you, make sure to pause. Pause the video and erase your content. Once your content is erased, then come back to the video and play, hit the play button again, okay? And so while I'm erasing in just a single swipe, you guys will take your time to erase. You don't have to go as fast as I am, and that's where I'm saving up a lot of time. I'm erasing in a single swipe, saves lots of time, looks like I'm going super fast in my drawing, when in fact it's just the fact that I'm not erasing at all, and you guys are. So that's what's taking you guys more time than me, and that's quite normal. So don't get frustrated with that. All of these lines, let's get those out of the way. Okay, so that's quite normal. And so there's something that I would recommend is watch the video once. Watch all of my videos once, and watch them a second time when you're ready to draw. And that will allow you to understand where we're going with this drawing beforehand. So it's a little bit of, it's like cheating. And it's not cheating, it's like cheating. And so you can watch the video first and foremost just to look at what I'm doing and get an understanding of how we're going to be building this drawing. And then watch it again while you're drawing. And click that pause button. It's vital so that you can follow along and do the proper drawing and taking your time. All right, all these foundation lines, we're going to get rid of those. All right, so I noticed one thing. If you can see, this lightsaber is sort of all crooked now, because if you look at the hilt of the lightsaber at the bottom is very straight. And my hilt is really straight and my lightsaber is really crooked, so that doesn't make sense. We'll fix that later on. So let's add here a little bit of his cloak that goes between his legs like this, flares out. And he's got two of these little material pieces that come down here, either side, like this. There you go. And then the lines inside these, like, we don't need that stuff. We'll get rid of those in a few seconds. Let's just finish off these outlines here. These lines here, what I was talking about, get rid of those. Don't need them. And then here's this cloak. A little belt. Put a utility box on there. Utility box on his belt, sort of over here. That's where he's got his air breather, I think, in there. Jedi don't have that many tools, so I don't know what's in these boxes really. But they tend to have those boxes on their belts just like clone troopers do. Not as many, they have fewer because they don't have clips, for their guns or whatever, but they do have these boxes. We're going to pull a few lines here down from the belt onto the material. Like that. All right, retrace the outlines of these things here like this. There we go. All right, so see, this laser, as I was saying, isn't parallel to my hilt, so we have to erase that stuff. This doesn't make sense. So let's get rid of that line. There we go. And we're going to retrace it following this curve here. This line here needs to be drawn all the way up, following that. It needs to be parallel, right, or even to that. That doesn't make sense if it's crooked, or else I have a broken lightsaber. All right, there, that makes sense. And notice I erased it, and I'm fine with that. A lot of people say, you're erasing, and that's fine. You can erase your drawings. You should be able to erase your drawings and reinvent stuff as you're moving along through a drawing, and it's quite okay to erase. There's nothing wrong with that. Erasing is only a normal course of drawing, so you can't get stuff perfect all the time, and you shouldn't try to get stuff perfect all the time anyway. Let's color in this leg here. We'll add a bit of shadow here to the left side. And at the bottom here, the knee. Considering that the lightsaber is producing a lot of light and it's coming from the top when you consider the leg, so this part has to be shaded too. His forearm and his clothing, his cloak, are producing a shadow onto his leg. This has to be nice and dark. Like that. Color that in. And the right leg will speed that up a little bit. So it's sort of colored in the same manner. And back in here, this has to be nice and dark. All right, we're going to retrace these lines here a little bit. And let's color in the whole bottom part here. Add a little bit of shadow here at the top. Oh yeah, I forgot his boot. Let's color in his boot too. His boots are dark leather, so we're just going to color in a nice dark line, leave a space, which is the reflection, light reflection there, and we're going to color this part in as well, nice and dark. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now we're going to try to draw little armor parts and his fingers here to where the fingers should go. And we need to erase all this junk in there. That's a little tough to erase because they're little small details, but use your pencil eraser or cut a little sliver of a bigger block eraser off and use that little sliver to erase. That helps. And all this, I need to get rid of that little line there I was cutting off the laser. color in his belt, color in his cloak here, but leaving a little gap. We want that lightsaber light to be visible there, so we'll leave a little bit of a gap there, and then color in the rest. Here's his cloak, closes up there. Nice and dark here. It's the darkest part of his body, other than underneath his chin. Okay, and I'm going to use the paper technique to protect my drawing. So I'm just using a sheet of paper. As I'm coloring this left arm, I'm at least not smudging his right arm, right? Because I've already drawn underneath there. And so if I were to just color freehand with my hand, my palm would most likely just smudge my whole drawing. So instead of smudging the drawing, I'm going to protect it with a little sheet of paper. It can be anything. It can be a 8.5 by 11. It can be lined paper. It can be, as long as it's a sheet of paper. It can be construction paper. Doesn't really matter as long as it's protecting your drawing from your palm. Look how my palm is wiggling. Well, that wiggling motion would actually pretty much downgrade my drawing underneath and smudge all the lead all over the place. I'm not sure it's lead anymore. I think it's graphite, and I keep saying graphite, but I'm really not sure 100% that that's what my pencil was laying down here. So see that here we're going to erase a little bit of a white line there because the lightsaber is producing some light, and I want that light to be visible, and therefore the clothing needs to be erased underneath here. Add the lightsaber line back in there a little bit. A little bit. All right, we're going to color in the lightsaber light here by drawing in a zigzag dark line and continue that on all the way to the hilt. And above that line, we're going to gray that out. But this little line here, we need to erase that. We don't need that there. And this line, the same thing at the bottom. We erase that. So it really looks like there's a solid light around that lightsaber. All right, let's color in this part here. And we're going to color in his top portion here and add those little lines, same lines we drew in at the bottom of his belt before. A few here too, some over here. Add a little bit of a clothing bend there, clothing fold. All right, this is where his thumb should be going, and then we're going to redraw those fingers. And because he's wearing black gloves with those gauntlets, we're going to color everything in black. But because we're coloring everything in black, it might end up being just one big block. So make sure to leave a little bit of a white line in between each finger so that you can keep that finger detail there done. All right, so for the gauntlet, we're going to actually use a gradient. The darkest part of the gauntlet is underneath, and as we're working our way towards the top, we make it brighter. Okay, so I've laid down one layer of graphite, and I'm going to lay down a second layer here at the bottom. It'll make a nice gradient effect, dark to light, dark at the bottom, and then with my eraser, I'm going to erase a little white line at the bottom here to make it look like the light from the lightsaber is hitting the floor and bouncing back up to his gauntlet and highlighting the bottom part, which is pretty cool. It gives a nice effect there. All right, coloring this arm. And because this is the right arm is hidden behind his body a little bit, it has to be a little bit darker than the right one, than the left one. Color that in nice and dark. Okay, I'm going to color the rest of the bottom part here. Nice diagonal lines. Make this a little bit darker here on the far left. This part of the material is a little bit darker underneath. Here for the belt as well, a little bit darker, a little bit. See, so because the lightsaber is producing all of this shadow and light and stuff, that's why we need to make this part darker. The lightsaber will be the main source of light in this drawing. So later on, what we're going to do is we're going to exaggerate the contour lines. We're going to darken the contour of our character a little bit, and you'll see that happening soon. So let's do his backhand here, which is protected by a plate, and we'll draw his fingers here. Color that in black. That's it. Color this back plate here a little bit darker. Redo the outlines for his forearm. Put a curve here, there we go. Color that in the same fashion we did on the left side. We're going to do the same here on the right side. All right. Add this line here. And he's got his communicator on this side. This is how he communicates with Anakin. Taps a little button on there and then can communicate with Anakin. Come and help me out. I'm ready to fight Count Dooku or whatever. And then on this arm, there's a little bit of a logo. It's a circle, you know, like a donut with a gap between here. And that'll be colored in nice and dark. There we go. It looks like it's sprayed on. A little bit of a gap. He's on Squad 0. I'm not sure what that logo is all about. Let's add the fold to his clothing here, and then goes to the boot line on either side like this. And we'll color in that pant leg completely, add a little bit more of a knee. Let's color all that in, speed that up. And then we're going to color the bottom part of this pants. And of course, within the cloak there, it has to be nice and dark. All right, we're going to color this part in really dark here. Make the pant folds a little bit darker as well. A little bit darker within the thigh area there, and here at the knee. Alright, and now we're going to color in his boots nice and dark and leave a little bit of a lightning bolt there on the side, which represents the reflection of light onto his leather boots. I'm going to color that in just a little bit, but leave it brighter than the rest. And really dark here on the far right side of that boot. We're going to retrace the outlines here. Okay, there we have it. Now this line over here, we don't need that. We'll get rid of that stuff. And we're going to point off his lightsaber, make it a nice point. Pull those lines down, like that. On this side, awesome. Another bit of shadowing. So this is what I was saying earlier, is this lightsaber is producing a lot of light. We need to darken all the exterior parts of our character here. So top of his head needs to be a little bit darker here. Okay, side of his shoulder and arm here has to be dark. This part has to be dark too. So to represent that the lightsaber is really bright. And so we need to color in this side too. That, because all this stuff is really making it bright there. Do the underside here too. All right, so this lightsaber here is in a diagonal line. We're going to make opposite directional lines on the background here. So we're going to draw the background. He'll be in a sort of galactic corridor or elevator. I'm not sure what, but we'll draw these vertical lines and then draw ovals to represent lighting. It'll look like an empire sort of corridor or wall. Keeping those lines really light, we want the character to step out from the background. So the background is lighter in line than the character is. I'm just going to speed this up here. Just add those little phosphorescent lights there in the wall. And use my handy dandy paper trick to protect my drawing as I'm adding details on the left side here. And then we're going to add a few more lines over here on the far right. Then we're going to add a little control box here on the far left. So it's just a little, rectangle with a bunch of little rectangles inside it. Circles and whatever else. So you can maybe open a door, close a door. And there you have it. That's our uh, Obi Wan Kenobi drawing. For those of you that wanted Obi Wan, I hope you like it. It came out all right. You know, it's not my best drawing, but it came out pretty good. And so I hope you enjoyed watching Drawing with Paolo today. I'm going to wish you a great day. See you soon. Catch you next time.